What's up guys, today we're going to be going over the 4 new Void 3.0 fragments that you can now get from the tower now that the raid is out, and you can simply just buy them for Glimmer from Ehroar and meditate and upgrade them. And in this video we will be going over exactly what they do and making a cool hunter build with them, so definitely look forward to that. And one of these 4 fragments is a must use and completely changes everything about Void 3.0 and is by far the best fragment in the game. So first, starting off with Echo of Instability, defeating targets with grenades grant volatile rounds to your void weapons. So this one is very straightforward. Simply get a grenade kill and you'll get 10 seconds of the volatile rounds, which will load your void weapon with like explosive payload rounds that also chain explode. Obviously they're extremely strong, and obviously this will pair extremely well with a void weapon with Adrenaline Junkie to proc ×5 and the volatile rounds on a grenade final blow. And this season you can also do this from the artifact with volatile flow. So this season this fragment isn't necessarily must use, but in future seasons it definitely will be. But this season, which one do you want to use? Well, I think it just comes down to if you want an extra mod or fragment slot, and that is how I will determine which one I want on a build. Do I want a mod or an extra fragment? And it's pretty much just that. So moving on to the next fragment, this one right here, Echo of Harvest, defeating a weakened target with precision final blows, create an orb of power. So looking at how that works, pretty straightforward once again. Simply weaken a target and it will create a orb of power. So I think the best way to combo this would be on Hunter with the Snare Bomb, which will weaken the targets. And I think this one's the best because the Snare Bomb on most content won't kill the enemy, it'll just slow them down and weaken them, making it super easy to get the precision final blow. But I do think there is a cooldown of how often this can be procced. If I go ahead and weaken 2 targets and kill them both with precision hits very quickly, as you see, only the first one will create the orb of power. So it does seem like there is a cooldown of how often that can be procced, but you could combo this with a siphon on your helmet to create orbs a secondary way. For example, I'm using kinetic with my Dire Promise, and you can further combo this with orb mods on your boots, where when you pick up the orbs of power, you get grenade energy, melee energy, whatever it is. Moving on to the 3rd fragment, finisher final blows grant invisibility. So on both Warlock and Titan, there's no way to make yourself invisible outside of a hunter doing it for you. And now if I go and finish a target, I simply go invis for 5 seconds, which is extremely cool that you can go invis whenever you want on non-hunter. And you can further combo this with the Echo of Persistence, which will increase the duration of the 3 void effects. And now when I do the finisher and go invis, it will now be for 7 seconds, which is very good. So I think this fragment could be really strong on both Warlock and Titan for in-game content. On Hunter, you can obviously go invis a lot of different ways already, but being able to do it now on Warlock and Titan, for example, like in a GM with Aeons or even like Special Finisher, you're going to be finishing a lot of targets quite often anyways. So that could be really big to get in there, finish a high health target, and get out without dying. And finally, the most important one, Echo of Starvation, picking up an orb of power grants Devour. So if you never watched my channel, Devour is by far one of, if not the strongest ability in the game, and all you need is a siphon on your helmet to create an orb of power. Then you have it on any character, not just Warlock. It used to only be on Warlock. So how this works is simply just get a double kill and pick up the orb of power, and you'll get Devour for 5 seconds. But as you get kills, the timer will go up to 10 seconds, and if you have Echo Persistence, up to 15. And just like Devour's always been, every single kill will give you grenade energy, and whenever you get final blow, you'll get full health instantly, which just makes Devour insanely good for playing aggressive and grenade builds. But we've seen Devour on Warlock for years, so what's it look like on Titan, for example? Well, it's the exact same thing. You get the exact same amount of grenade energy and full health on every single kill. So it's literally Warlock Devour, but for all characters, and all you have to do is run a fragment and pick up an orb, and you start the chain and just have it until the timer runs out. Just pick up another orb and you're good to go. So yeah, this fragment is just kind of good, you know, maybe just the most important thing in the game. And the amount of grenade energy you get back is based off your discipline stat, so trying to max that out will maximize how much you get back. And another trick you can do is run a explosive light rocket launcher. And I'm using this because when you have your super, you can't pick up an orb of power usually, but now with explosive light, even if you have your super, you can still pick up the orb and proc Devour, which is going to be really good for raids where you like rally a flag and have your super for the boss. You want to still be able to proc Devour leading up to the boss fight. So yeah, Echo of Starvation is practically the most important void fragment now. I think it is a must use on both Titan and Hunter, and depending on which aspects you have, it's still extremely strong on Warlock, but obviously not necessary. And yeah, there's not too much more to say about Devour, just instantly full health and one of the best grenade builds. It is by far the best subclass perk in Destiny 2 and Destiny's history. It is that good and completely changes everything about this game, the fact that all 3 characters can now have it. So I just want to show off one Hunter build, because so far this season I've shown off a few builds on all characters, but only one on Hunter, and it was a Glade build. So I just want to show a more generalized build for Hunter that I've been running now. That's me with Gamer's Dodge and also Vortex. Then our 2 aspects are Vanishing Step, then also Stylish Executioner. And we look at our fragments. The first one is Undermining for the grenade debuff, Expulsion for the Bloom, then we have Starvation for the Devour on or pickup, then Persistence to both increase the duration of invisibility, then also Devour. So we're double dipping with that fragment. And our weapons of choice will be number 1, a void weapon with preferably Adrenaline Junkie, for example the Funnel Web. Then you could run something like a Blinding GL and Parasite, G-Horn, or you can run something like Izanagi and a Explosive Light Rocket. And now for the mods, pretty straightforward 5 mods. We have Reaping Wellmaker. When we dodge, our next weapon Final Blow will create a Void Well. And we have Elemental Ordnance to create Void Wells on grenade kills. Then we have Well of Utility for the 50% armor resistance whenever we pick up the Void Well. Quantum Might for the 25% increase to our void weapons. Then we finally have Volatile Flow to give our Funnel Web the volatile rounds. A few other very important mods we have is first, Utility Kickstart. When we use our dodge, we'll get a chunk back. Also, when we use our dodge, we'll get a chunk of all of our abilities as long as we're nearby a target when we do so. Also on our gloves, we have Bolstering Detonation, which is when we get damage with our grenade, we'll get a chunk of our dodge back. Then on our helmet, I believe we have the Harmonic Siphon to create the Orbs of Power. And finally on our boots, I believe we have 2 different names to take advantage of picking up the orbs. We have Insulation for a chunk of our dodge and Absolution for a chunk of all 3 of our abilities. So kind of same setup as our class item. And the stats you want to optimize are Mobility and Discipline. My armor isn't the best, so as you see I have 7 and 5, but if you get 10 and 10 on that, you'd be flying through your abilities so quick with this build. So as you see, how this works is you more or less just throw your snare bomb, then you want to dodge, then throw your grenade, and just do that cycle over and over again. And it's infinite abilities for all 3. And you have practically every void buff possible. You have Devour at all times, constant invisibility, you have Tenacity for the 50% damage resistance, you have volatile rounds, you have Adrenaline Junkie times 5, you have Font of Might. I think it's easier to list what you don't have, which is pretty much just one main, which is an Overshield. But yeah, you just have every void thing all the time, and you also have pretty much infinite uptime on all 3 of your abilities. I don't even have high stats as you saw, so you can imagine if I had tier 10 mobility and discipline, how fast I'd be getting everything. And I almost forgot, with Devour you get full health back on every kill. So yeah, this is a build. It's pretty good, you could say. You know, I might main Hunter now. I don't know. This is pretty cool. And yeah, I think that is gonna be it for the commentary. The Devour fragment is by far the best fragment in the game. A must use. Definitely pick it up and put it into whatever build you're running, and it's just gonna be straight up better. Anyways, like usual, the rest of the video will just be some strike gameplay with the Hunter build. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.